All right. So am I.
I don't have any more coffee, so I have to be.
Yeah. They're so good.
Hola, mi gentes. This is the Texas Cornhole Show. I'm John. That's Grant. And we just had the most epic weekend of cornhole in Texas of all time, maybe?
Of this year.
Of this year, at least.
Yeah, at least of this year.
But okay. Texas Signature Series number 3.
Yes.
Blew the doors off the Mesquite Convention Center.
Yeah, it was jam-packed.
Yeah, it might literally have blown some elevator doors, maybe some bathroom doors.
Bathroom stalls.
Doors were blown
Yeah.
off. And then we also had, just a few short hours away in Bryan, Texas, the ACL Open number 8. Both were super well attended. TCL, did you guys set record numbers? I don't even know.
It felt like it, didn't it? It felt like it.
Yeah, I mean, we did get some comments on the Facebook page about it being crowded, but
yeah, I mean, the biggest deal on that is there were so many people on the wait list messaging TCL. I mean, every single day of just like, hey, is there any way I can play? And I think just out of the nature of wanting to allow as many people come play as they can, because Signature Series is such an awesome event for so many people. They jam-packed it. Now, this is the growing pain part, right? I don't think that TCL has had to think about parking spots before and how that was going to handle it, because the venue next to the hotel it's not the same thing with the hotel, right?
Yeah.
So they were looking for their cut if they're going to be using all their parking.
Yeah,
right.
I could understand that, but we can get into all that stuff later. I think first we'd have to talk about the draft.
Oh yeah, the draft's got to be the number one thing.
And I want to talk about it because I won again.
Yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous, and I'm getting accused of always losing because I draft my boys.
Yes. That was me that accused you of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got called out on that. So, hey, my boys, figure it out. Figure it out, because it's frustrating losing to the numbers guy when I'm a eye test kind of guy.
Yeah, well, I probably should have set it up so that we can share our screen, but share the spreadsheet. But the spreadsheet's not very good. I'm not an accountant. I know how to build a spreadsheet. I can do all the counting and stuff, but it doesn't necessarily look good. But let's go over some highlights here of the total points scored. And for those who don't know, we drafted teams. We drafted singles out of TCL and doubles out of both TCL and ACL of the big tournaments that were going on.
Yes.
We were joined by Mr. Sean Asp himself from the Big Asp Cornhole podcast, and Trey Sparks, the voice of TCL, who does most of the commentating during TCL events.
Does a fantastic job too.
And me and you, right? We had to mix it up a little bit, because me and you have been going head to head on these for a while now. Brought in some new blood. Didn't matter. Still undefeated.
I mean, I'm acting cool. I promise you. I'm so pissed off inside.
And also, like,
I guess this is the part that makes me mad about it, bro. This is the part that makes me mad. I keep drafting myself, and I'm not letting myself down. It's not me. It ain't me. Like, I know I don't mean to brag, but it ain't me, dog.
It's not you.
It's so.
And I have the numbers to prove it.
Yeah. So,
I think you actually pointed or got the most points for your team in both singles and doubles. That's a correct statement.
Which I can't. I'm telling. Okay, if my guys are listening, I'm telling you from being, again, your bros. I cannot be the top finisher. I got too much stuff going on with the center booth and doing things for me to. Cornhole's the third thing I'm thinking about, and man, you cannot let me finish the highest. I know Sammy wasn't there, but come on, man. Where are my boys at?
It's funny, and you didn't draft Sammy.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad, because that's the first time I've ever not chosen Sammy, and of course, bro. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we could go over the results really quickly here. Well, I say really quickly, however long it takes. Team Grant, you are actually in last place with 43 points total.
Let's go.
Next up, Mr. Trey Sparks. He's in third place with 43.5.
Oh, so I got beat by half a point?
Only half a point.
Recount.
Yeah. Hey, maybe. Feel free. I sent out the spreadsheet last night and told you guys, go ahead and recount this stuff. And honestly, what hurts you the most were the deductions.
Yeah.
The prove us wrong deductions, which we'll get into in a minute. The prove us wrong guys showed up and showed out.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. There's a lot to talk about there, I think. In second place was Mr. Sean Asp 56.5, and then myself at 57.5. So it was only a 1 point difference between me and Sean. Now, if you've been listening to the show, you know that I just keep saying SPR is the best tool to determine the outcome of a cornhole match.
Right.
And we proved it yet again. And not only because I won, and that's all I used, I drafted blindly off of SPR. But the next guy who also used SPR primarily is Sean Asp, and he was only 1 point behind. And we beat you guys combined by like 12 points. So the guys who used SPR dominated, is my point.
But like you said, I got killed by deductions, right?
Deductions hurt you a lot.
So I think towards the end of the draft, maybe that's where the SPR is killing me.
The deductions hurt you a lot. You drafted some guys that just didn't perform.
But my top picks were fine. What? You have the spreadsheet here.
I do, but I don't have the draft order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just typed in the names.
Because I know Haley and Terry finished great for me. I finished great for me. Kingfishers, they went a little deep in bracket, but
these are your guys.
Vega Lopez killed me.
No, actually, it was Murdoch and Good.
Murdoch and Good killed me.
Yeah.
Come on, Murdoch. Show time. Show up.
Murdoch and Good was a -4 to your point total. Because so many people placed higher than them. I did look at the stats. I'm not sure who struggled, but maybe they both did.
Rare Longoria got in the main bracket.
Yeah,
hey,
okay.
Reef and K-Money did great for me.
I would have expected, no offense to Herrera and Longoria, but I was expecting them to not make tier 1, but they did. Sorry, guys, to say that out loud. Herrera actually had a great tournament because he placed really well in singles too, which kind of begs the question, is the guy back? Is the break from ACL been good? He performed really well.
I mean, dude, Herrera is so good, and the way the game's trending with people putting more bags in the hole, that's good for Ernest Herrera.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Is he throwing some more? Is he practicing? What's going on?
I don't think he's practicing more.
You think I think Herrera always plays good with the people he has a good time with, so playing with Matt probably helped a lot.
Yeah. Well, they did pretty good. Oh, yeah. So, the reason I won and I was able to beat Sean Asp, it wasn't based on points. If you take away the bonuses, Sean actually beat me. It was the bonus points that put me ahead.
Hey.
Yep. And I got to shout out Keith Ledwig and Trey Sparks, and that was a 100% heart pick. I didn't pick that based on SPR. That was just, hey, there's Keith Ledwig right there in front of me. I'm taking him. And Keith and Trey did best out of everybody that was picked in the bonus. So I got the 5-point bonus for him. And then also,
a bonus would have helped me.
It would
have helped me a little bit. It would make me feel better, but so...
let's be clear. The competition here was between me and Sean, the guys who used SPR.
Right, okay. But, I mean, there's small things add up. Bill Davidson and Dan Hemingway.
Yeah.
1 game short of winning in the championship in competitive. And that would have gave me 5 bonus points.
It would have.
And
it would have taken away from mine, which means Sean would have won.
It just changes how things look. If you can kind of see where you messed up, right? So... I don't know. I'm proud of those guys for getting the championship, but Drew Dixon just...
Yeah. I saw him as being available. I've been watching him play out here a lot. And I mention it often that he is a low handicap golfer, and golf is so hard. And if you see somebody like loving cornhole and playing all the time, and they're a low handicap golfer, they're going to be a very good cornhole player.
And I full on believe that, and
yeah, so he's proving
I'm playing with him Friday.
Oh, good. Yeah, so I think he got bumped now, right? Honestly, the kid should not have been in competitive, but the boy he was playing with, Vaught, not as good as Drew Dixon. But they won.
Yeah. I mean, that's not taking any away from that kid either. Drew is on the come up.
Yeah, so really it was because of the bonus points that put me over Mr. Sean Asp. Now, Trey and Grant, I got to give you shit because you let this guy from Ohio just come in. He's like me, a fat guy with a spreadsheet, and just starts crunching numbers and picks a great team.
I mean... No disrespect to fat guys with spreadsheets, but it happens. I don't know. I really don't have anything to defend myself because I've lost so many in a row. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know.
I can't say anything. It's like my gut obviously isn't leading me the right way. But I'm just happy I'm not letting myself down.
You're not. Okay, let's talk about, speaking of letting down, right? The Prove Us Wrong group. The people that we didn't draft that were on our draft board. Some of them had some incredible days. None better than Mr. John Miller Time and Kenan Hatcher.
Yep.
Undrafted.
And
they made it to the finals.
Do you think they were undrafted because of Kenan or John?
John, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Nobody thought John was going to be able to make it or compete that
well.
But
I got to play against him in 1 game, but I mean, he was on it. He was hit. the biggest part is he was hitting his airmails.
Well, he told a story in our chat or in the
so
Facebook group. Is that true?
Me and Brennan started real slow.
Okay.
Real slow. I mean, and if anyone didn't see it on the bracket, me and Brennan went 0-3 in rounders to start off. So it was looking like we're not going to make the main bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, frustrating. We just had to win the game in front of us. Won the next game, and then we're playing Mark De La Garza and Alex Ibarra. Alex Ibarra being the guy in the singles championship.
Yeah, who's throwing gas this weekend.
Yes. So we're playing them, and it's 11-10. Brennan gives up an 8 spot. Bam, 19-10. We have to win this game to go to the main bracket. Got a blocker going, hit some airmails. I got 6. Brennan got 2, and then I finished it off from there. I think airmails again, but we got into the main bracket. Then we get into the main bracket. We lose to Reef and K-Money immediately. First 2 out 3. Go to the loser bracket. We run off from being the first one out of the winner bracket to getting 3rd place in the tournament, just grinding. And so we get to play John Miller on the main stage. This is the 3rd place game.
Okay, so they beat you to go to the championship.
Yes.
Okay.
They take, I think, an early lead. We start battling back, and it's looking
this is in the losers bracket, so it's 1 game.
1 game.
Okay.
So it looks like we're building our way back in this game. John was not. He didn't miss much. I mean, he was down the middle. Cannon was on fire. I think he threw a 10.
He said he was throwing slick side and airmail, going back to his basic game.
Yes.
Against you?
Yes.
Okay, and you're not blocking the shit out of him?
I was trying to, and my blocks kept on landing a little left, so it just gave him the alley.
Oh, yeah.
Go up middle. Next thing you know, I'm chasing these left to right to try to get that bag to come back. When my blocks started landing, I started scoring a little bit of points, but again, they built a lead. They built a lead up. And we get into these final frame, and I just let go of a bag, and my worst bag all day. And
I think he said you side railed it.
Yeah, I side railed it, and I was like, John Miller's on fire right now, and if he puts all of his bags in the hole, he wins. So I was like, inspired by Chad Jacobson last night, I could not help but to look over at John. Miller time. Don't get nervous, because it's all I could do. All I could do is say something to him and hope he misses a shot, and he did not.
He hit the shot.
He put all of his bags in the hole.
On the main stage.
He had to put the next. Yeah. He had to put the next bags in the hole, and dude, it's just like, it is what it is. And by the way, I said that to him, and then I threw my last bag, and then he threw his bag. So it's not like I threw my bag, threw my 9, and then said something to him before he threw. I made sure to accept that penalty as well. But he did not make eye contact with me. He did not want to do that.
He did say that you were his idol, right? So this is a memory he's going to have for the rest of his life.
And
on the main stage at a TCL event, throwing against you, you're talking some shit, and he hits the shot.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's a great moment for him.
And then he gets to go to the finals.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Him and I have played some games against each other, and we've built a relationship up. But yeah, it was really cool to see him get to the championship too, because it shows everybody in this new format, we all can make the championship. You just got to get hot that day.
Yeah, and I think, John wasn't drafted, so that means everybody got deductions. Everybody had to
except for
John, who picked JBJ.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was definitely the biggest prove us wrong duo. There are a couple other ones. The next one was Alvarado and Franco. They placed 13th in Tier 1, undrafted. So they stuck a lot of people with deductions.
You know who... Alvarado, Noah is definitely starting to get his game back some. He's still dealing with the bag kind of hopping on him because he throws so backloaded. But Madden Franco, he was throwing really, really well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he just had his birthday a few days ago. I think he's 13.
Yeah, I saw him on Kevin. I didn't know who he was, but on Kevin Meza's got a new vlog.
Yeah.
And I finally saw who he was on Kevin Meza's blog. He's like a little kid cussing. Because that's Kevin's shtick, is cussing to little kids.
It is. That's what Kevin does. And you're like, all right, come on. But that kid, he picked it up, man. He threw really, really well. He beat me on my side. Thank you, Brennan Bennett, for getting me through that game.
Yeah, I think they put points, or they gave me huge deductions, Alvarado and Franco, because most of my team placed less than 13th. So they hurt my doubles team significantly. I should have picked them instead of pretty much everybody on my team. I think the only couple of players that did better than those two on my doubles team were Govea and Heilman. And that's it, actually.
Well, whoever drafted Ty and Matt had to, I mean,
that's me.
Yeah, that had to be one of the worst things for you.
Ty Thompson and Matt Morris had the highest combined SPR of all the doubles team by like multiple digits. Usually it's like half a fraction of a point or whatever. But no, I remember it being like 5 points higher than anybody else. I thought it was a sure thing they were going to be first through third, but at least podium.
Right.
Didn't
and
happen.
they actually beat pretty good Justin and Peyton in the rounders. They beat them pretty good. Like, it wasn't, I don't think it was close.
Really?
And so for them to fall off the way they did, I don't know what happened. I mean,
It just happens.
happens.
I guess SPR doesn't always work, huh?
No, I mean, you
averages.
got to put nerves in there, right?
All right, and then the other Prove Us Wrong group was Signs and Sharky. They placed 17th tier 1.
Signs got hot.
And they put a lot of deductions. Most of my team placed, 25th. So they gave me a lot of deductions, and they gave a lot of deductions.
Shout out Govea and Josh Hillman for making their run.
Yeah.
Govea coming off playing with pros, and then he's like, okay, I don't have a pro this time. Let's see what I do. They threw great. They got pretty far. 5th place.
Place. Yep.
They made a great run.
Yep. And then let's see. I think the guys I drafted that kind of surprised me is not doing well, that also had played with pros in the past. And I don't mean, sorry to call you out, Zach, but Faulkner and Villa, Andrew Villa, right? They both have ridden JBJ. JBJ's thrown them in the backpack. And this was their chance to get together to show everybody that they didn't need a pro to take them to the top, and they didn't make tier 1.
It was funny because I was talking to Faulkner, and he was like, I think John was right. We're going to be the tier 2 champions.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach actually threw really, really well in singles.
Is that right?
Really, really well. He lost to guys that were just, if you got to see the PPRs at one point in the tournament, there was like 6 people throwing over a 10, including Zach Faulkner, in the singles tournament. And Zach threw over a 10 and ended up in the loser bracket after his first game. I mean, that's just nuts.
That is. And let's see, Haddock and Gibson with 4th place. No surprise there. You and Bennett in 3rd. And who are 5th teams? 5th place teams. Ibarra. Okay. Alex Ibarra and Mark De La Garza. Was it Alex Ibarra's coming out party?
Yes.
Is he finally like at that level?
He's got to do it again. With that being said, that we've seen several coming out parties in the Mesquite venue.
Right.
Several.
Right. That's what I was kind of getting at. You say that this is the one where people really do prove.
For whatever reason, people just take their game up at this venue.
Yeah.
Or you see people not perform, which gives other people the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And Alex Ibarra, he capitalized on his opportunity.
So I was watching this remotely. I wasn't there, but he was on the main stage playing Justin in the winner's bracket. And what I remember specifically was he hits the last bag. Justin's thrown all 4 of his. He's got one more bag in his hand, and he had the choice: shoot the airmail and hit it to win the game, win the match, and advance to the king seat, or put the bag on the board, play it safe, and go another round. And he went with the airmail option, and he hit it to win.
You have to,
right? And that was, the commentators. I think Trey, maybe one of the commentators said, "Oh, you need to take a timeout and think about it." He didn't. He just saw the situation, threw the airmail, and hit it.
He was throwing his best when he was not thinking about it. He was throwing. And the reason I bring this up, you go to a singles match in the championship. He threw like 6, 7 rounds in a row, 12s. Gas, and he jumped out to this huge lead.
Really? I didn't watch it.
Oh, yeah. I was watching it live. It was awesome. It's so awesome watching new guys in the championship. It's just, you got someone to root for, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, so you got Alex, he comes out on fire, takes, I think, a 10-0, 11-0 lead on Justin, and did not miss a bag. One bag came out of his hand. One bag where it's like, that was a nerves throw.
Okay.
His bag wobbled like this, and that was probably the first time he thought about,
I'm going to
win this.
Yeah.
And that bag came out, wobbled, missed, and next thing you know, Justin's like a snake, dude. Justin just wraps around you and just squeezes and squeezes and squeezes until he eventually wins. And that's just his style of play. He puts bags in the freaking hole.
Yeah.
So, Alex, that's a tough situation to be in. Now just not think about it, keep throwing.
Well, I don't know much about De La Garza, but for him to do so well in singles and then also in doubles place 5th I think he's actually like arrived. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's at that highest level.
Oh, no offense to De La Garza, but Alex had to be throwing great for them to make the run they did. Because, and De La Garza is pretty good. He's a good guy to have on the other end. He hits some big shots. He can flop. He can do some stuff. He can some airmails. So, Yeah, congratulations, Alex, of making your come out this weekend. Come out, or what do you want to call it?
Sure. Come out sounds
Breakout?
weird. Breakout.
Make out.
Bust out. He kind of reminds me of a Chase Lester in the sense that they've been playing for a while, but they just keep getting better. Like they keep getting, you know, Lester didn't have the best turnout or show out in this tournament, but these guys have been playing for a long time, but they just keep getting better. And I say this because a lot of times in cornhole, people either get good fast, right? Or they kind of quit. But there are some guys that just kind of keep at it and keep getting better, and he seems to be one of them.
Right.
He's been good for a long time, but I think he's gotten better. He's got all the shots too.
I mean, you can't deny the way he threw in that tournament. He was putting bags in the freaking hole, hitting air mails, doing the flops. Like he was doing everything he needed to.
All right. So we're still doing doubles. So in this draft, we also drafted doubles out of the ACL tournament, the ACL Open. We managed to get a list of people who were registered a little bit ahead of time so that we can pick some doubles teams. And, you know, all of our teams did pretty well. The worst team, believe it or not, that was drafted placed 13th, and that was Grinder Sliv. Sorry. Is it Grinder or Grinder? I say Grinder.
I say Grinder.
Is it because he grinds? He's a grinder? Well, Grinder Sliv and Batson got 13th, and that was the lowest placement of everybody that we drafted, and that was kind of surprising, right? And I remember when Sean Asp drafted him, he was like, you guys are crazy.
He was laughing in my face.
He was. It's like, these guys are like back-to-back national champs at the end of last season.
Laughing in my face.
But yeah, so they're the kind of the worst place teams that were drafted. But the first place, Sammy Soto and not Jacob Gore, the other Gore.
Jackson Gore.
And they were throwing gas. I watched them throw for a little bit, and we've all seen Sammy, like everybody listening to the show has seen Sammy dominate, and he was throwing really good. And that Jackson Gore kid is good.
Yeah.
He's no joke.
Oh, no, not at all. He just gets overshadowed, but he's talented, packed with talent.
Yeah, another, so that's first place. Then second place, Cano Chamberlain, which had to be the heavy favorite going into the tournament, and they got second, beaten by Soto and Gore, which was kind of surprising, in my opinion. I mean, nothing against Soto and Gore, but Cano Chamberlain, both those guys are super good. They're proven. They've won a bunch of tournaments. I really expected them.
And this is where we need to give Soto and Gore the credit. We haven't seen them play together that often or play ACL that often to stand by them, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, every time Sammy shows up in those events, he doesn't throw bad.
I think the last time Soto and Gore played an Open, they got second. They were in the finals.
To Justin and Logan?
I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's nice that the Texas Open had an all Texas, finishing.
Yes.
First and second.
Yeah, you definitely don't want people coming into your town and taking your stuff.
And speaking of your town, so Chamberlain got second with Cano, and Chamberlain won first place in singles.
Yep.
And that place, the Legends Event Center, is in his backyard. Almost literally.
He slept in his own bed.
Yeah, he slept in his own bed. Yeah, his mom make him breakfast. But yeah, that's his backyard, and he played really, really well. Really well.
Defend your territory.
His singles performance was pretty incredible. And then some out of towners, Almanza and Trzynski, got third place. And then the prove us wrong out of the ACL event was where are they? There they are. Gore Schroeder. Okay, so that's the other Gore brother. And then Schroeder, I watched him play for a little bit. He's basically like Damon Dennis with a different face. Right.
Okay.
So kind of like a lanky old white guy.
Does he take his time? Or is he quick?
Yeah. Lanky. Thrower? Yeah. Well, he's not a fast thrower. I don't think he's as slow as Damon Dennis. Okay. Damon Dennis is super slow.
Okay.
But yeah, that's I guess that's the highlights from the ACL events. No real big surprises there. Except actually, wait. All of our teams, me, you, and Shrey, got more points out of our ACL players than Sean Asp did. And Sean Asp was like, "Oh, ACL's my
yeah, he talking that shit, man. Yeah. Talking that shit."
but yeah, he was
Asp beats me in the TCL deal.
Yeah. All right, cool. So now singles. We can talk about the singles draft. This is where Team Zarzinski straight dominated. I got 36 points out of my singles team. The next highest was you, actually, with 18 points. So I got more than double the points out of singles. It was my singles team that really carried the day. Because I had JBJ and Ibarra. By the way, Ibarra was nobody expected that. Well, I drafted him. I drafted him a bunch ahead of a bunch of guys. So let's look at the Prove Us Wrong. There were two guys that made an impact in the Prove Us Wrong bracket, and that was Flo Zamora and David Saenz. David Saenz again. undrafted in both singles and doubles, and he put deductions on every single team in both singles and doubles.
Yes. Yeah.
So those two guys placed 13th in tier 1 and gave quite a bit of deductions.
And I think no one has really, I don't think many people have realized that Flo Zamora has been one of those guys to get better just consistently.
Yeah.
And he's starting to make deeper and deeper runs.
Yeah, he's going to be tough to beat in Lubbock, right? Because that's his hometown.
Yeah. Harder, yeah.
Harder, yeah. Well, I guess one thing to say about the TCL event is that people were missing. Okay, Sammy Soto wasn't there. Logan Chamberlain wasn't there. So in the future SIGs, they're probably going to be there, and it's going to be a different tournament.
And the reason it makes a difference is that, just to be transparent on it, you looked when the bracket came out, and you looked at that bracket. The top half of the bracket on Alex Ibarra's side, it was not the same as the bottom side, where you got Cahill, me, Justin, Chase. I mean, you had guys that have been that deep before. Or on the other side, you had guys that were very good, but they have not finished super deep in the bracket before, and that helped them. But when you have the addition of Sammy and Logan into that, odds are there's going to be some talent on both ends of the bracket.
Well, so first, second, and third were JBJ, Alex Ibarra, and Caleb Franklin. He got third. He did pretty well this tournament.
And it was good to see Caleb show up, because I'm not going to lie, I slept on him a little bit. He got picked second by Trey, and I was like, wow. Yeah. I was like, I mean, he's really good. He's gotten deep before, but I haven't seen him get to second place deep yet. Well, he's right there.
He's really good at cornhole, and I've got a short out with Caleb Franklin's grip. And it's one of the more interesting ones because he changes his index finger's position on the bag during the pitch motion. And I've got a nice little tight, zoomed in, up close shot of him doing it. As he's taking the bag back, he moves his finger. It's pretty interesting. But he's one of the guys who puts his pointer finger on the corner of the bag. And you can see it on release. And people that do that are using that pointer finger to increase the spin rate of their bags. And it's kind of like counterintuitive. Increased spin rate seems to result in a more consistent, straighter bag if it's flat. I digress. That's not what we're talking about right now. But stay tuned. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff on like how to throw a flat bag and grips and all that good kind of stuff. So Mason Vega in 5th after year 4th place. It was Mason Vega in 5th. The kid continues to show that he's a really, really good cornhole player. And then it goes on. But yeah, shout out to Flo Z and David Signs for kicking ass in the Prove Us Wrong area. And I think we've covered most of it. Is there anything else you want to say about me continuing
dominating the draft?
Win the draft? I didn't dominate. Big Ass gave me a run for my money because he also uses SPR.
On to the next SIG. On to the next SIG. And at the end of the day, maybe I got to stop choosing my guys. It's sad to hear, but maybe I got to stop.
Well, one of the comments that we got on Facebook was, you got to put something on it, right? We're just playing for what?
Yeah, but at the same so I agree. There should be something on it, but finding the right thing, because listen, there's a difference between me going out there in a Big D jersey and you're not playing.
Well, maybe if I lose, I have to.
But that's the next event. I mean,
yeah.
So we got to find something that applies to everybody that's doing the draft. Because again, me wearing other stuff is different when I'm making a run in the open singles bracket.
Well, you don't think I'm capable of doing that, Grant?
I think you're a very talented guy.
Yeah, but we should. You know what, man? Hey, audience, maybe you've got some ideas for us.
Right.
What should we be playing for? And who else should be in the draft?
Because I don't like the idea of just putting cash on it.
Right, because it's just cash.
Because it's just cash, and then you're talking about, okay, am I supposed to give some of my winnings to the people that help me win? It's like, it shouldn't be about, it's supposed to be for fun.
Yeah.
So we got to make it a fun deal.
Okay, give us some ideas. Now, I have not talked to Sean or Trey to see if they're coming back for another draft. I think Sean might want to, because he might be coming to the Lubbock one, which I think is next, so he might enjoy that. Not sure about Trey. I don't think Trey's going to be in the Lubbock one. Okay, so while we're talking about Trey briefly, did you notice a new voice on the mic at the last SIG series?
Sammy.
Sideline Sammy.
Yep.
I thought he was great.
He did a good job, yeah. He did a good job, and we need guys like that on the mic.
Yeah, he's a personality.
Yes.
Right? He's fun to listen to. He has great commentary. He plays the game, so he understands what's going on, and he's got his own
style.
seasoning. Yeah, it's like spice that he adds to the to the show or to the broadcast, and I thought it was great.
People think it's easy. It's hard to talk behind a camera or in front of a camera. No, behind.
Yeah,
you're talking behind a camera, so you're just adding things to this to make what you're watching more exciting, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, he did a really good job.
And I've heard a rumor that he's going to be back.
Let's
go, Sideline Sammy.
Was there another guy at some point that did a really good job that we didn't get back up on there? Maybe I'm wrong. I'll think about it sometime, but
Kevin Meza.
He can't drink.
Oh, right. He gets a little loose.
He gets loose.
Me. Was it me? It was probably me. I've been banned from the TCL broadcast booth.
Yeah, those big D bags look great. Yeah, they were throwing big D bags.
Yeah,
I'm joking. That's an exaggeration.
Like team throwing stones at the last broadcast. You can't give me that kind of stuff. You can't give me that kind of heat. But I know that's a concern. But hey, I don't make bags anymore. So, or at least TCL bags. So it shouldn't matter anymore, right? All right. So the next thing on our list was we can talk about our own unique and individual experiences at both the ACL and TCL event.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to go there?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So I'll start.
Go. I want you to start. I need to get me a water for this.
All right. So let me think about this for a second. So I went to the TCL event at Mesquite on Thursday night. And so I got to kind of scope the scene. So I'm familiar with the layout. Mesquite is a little bit smaller, right? There was a lot of negative commentary on our page. And like when we asked for comments, what your highs and lows for the weekend, there was definitely like a consistent theme about the complaints, which I guess you can just address later.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, like it was a TCL event, right? The pit was there, set up with 3 lanes. Andy was there with all of his cameras.
Which shout out Andy. I do like going back and watching the games and hear him commentate.
Yeah,
because his personality it makes me smile.
Yeah,
I love it when Andy's enjoying what he's doing.
Yes, and as I've been getting into this live streaming stuff a little bit, the fact that he could always show up and the broadcast is always great.
It works every time.
People take it for granted. Like as I've been struggling with little bugs here and there and streamlining and working all this stuff out, like it is not easy to set all this stuff up and it works great.
Right. And totally.
I also think y'all realize like how good the quality is of that video. Like, make sure your YouTube settings are at the full 1080p, 60 FPS, like your HD. Sometimes you have to go click the gear and make sure you have the highest quality there is, but it's uploaded. And if you're making your own videos and highlight reels, make sure you do that. You can actually capture some high quality footage. Like if you're screen grabbing, you can go all the way to 1080p and it'll be there at 60 FPS. You can get some pretty good footage to make your highlights out of
and I think you're going to end up seeing a lot of his content end up going, or the Texas Cornhole's content going to YouTube because Facebook and the music.
Yeah, they block it.
So, and I also would like to see some cameras incorporated where you can get the full view of what's going on around them, because those championship games don't really show how many people are there.
Yeah.
But the deal is, like you kind of alluded to earlier, he's already got 6 cameras set up. So where do you kind of tinker it where you can show those other angles?
Well, at least 6. That's just 3 lanes. Sometimes there have been 4 lanes, and then if they want to go overhead, like once you start stacking up numbers and numbers of cameras, you start overloading. Then now you need more computing power, and you need more computers, literally.
And
so it's a big ask.
You and I were talking too about the ACL broadcast and the TCL broadcast.
Yeah,
people go to their hotel room that are at the event, and they'll just turn it on there.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. I don't like crowds,
but some people, being in that crowd, it's a different environment. It's fun. It's fun.
But as going back to like personal experience, like with the ACL crowd, as I've I've been pretty open about like starting a new chapter in my life and not drinking alcohol anymore. And the TCL event, definitely a lot of drinking, definitely very crowded. That was kind of my experience. That was on Thursday, so I wasn't there on Friday and Saturday, but I was watching from home. Actually, I posted a video on Facebook of me flying my plane back from the ACL event. I was checking the brackets because I had some Wi-Fi, or not Wi-Fi, but I had a signal, so I was able to watch the brackets as I was just on autopilot. Okay, so yeah, the TCL event looked like the setup was cool, but you can get into more details about that. There were some complaints, but I thought it was pretty cool. Like always, TCL always has great events, and Thursday night was bumping already.
Yep.
It was already getting electric in there on Thursday. So then I went to the ACL event on Saturday, And that, you know, a lot of people know that I am a pilot, and so I flew my plane out there, and that in and of itself for me, it just made my day. Being able to dust off my hangar queen, and in super cold weather, that's always a fun experience to fly your plane in cold weather. Beautiful day for flying, crystal clear air. So I flew there, so I was already in a great mood. But it was kind of awkward because, you know, when you show up at a place and just by yourself, like I went to a party by myself, basically. So
who do I talk to?
Yeah,
who is? Yeah.
And not everybody likes me, so I see some faces and I'm like, oh, first faces I see are people that don't like me. Great.
Yeah.
But I had my new backpack with all my camera gear in it. So I just kind of went off into a corner and started setting up my gear. Got some cool footage. Okay, highlights of that ACL event. That Legends Event Center in Bryan, Texas is super nice.
Legends or Legacy?
I think it's Legends.
Okay.
You know, if you have a cornhole league and you haven't thrown an event there, you should look into it because it's super nice. Like,
yeah, I think you were saying with the lighting in there, and then
it's natural lighting.
Right.
So at night, you know, you don't have it, but during the day, the way the building's constructed, like you don't have sun in your eyes, but there's light. There's natural light, which isn't
it just a basketball gym, really? I mean, multiple courts.
Yeah, but imagine like a giant volleyball / basketball event center, and they can wall it off. It reminds me of the Shreveport, just a huge giant building that you can fit, you know, a bunch of cornhole boards in. And so that's what ACL did. And it was really nice. Like the things that are positive about ACL, like first of all, that building is amazing. I love that building. Seriously, you guys should go there. It's new. There's plenty of parking. There's lots of bathrooms. Like the infrastructure is there to support a really big event. And then the way ACL does it, like the pitch pads on every single court, it's just fancy. It's very nice and fancy is what I think when I think of these ACL events. So I went to that one ACL event, which became notorious, I guess, in Fort Worth. And that wasn't that great because it was like in a parking garage.
Dickies Arena.
Yeah.
And they were putting games out there on the street.
Yeah. It was awful.
It was a free venue.
It was okay. Well, when I saw that, I was like, oh, ACL is no big deal, right? Or it's not that great. Like, I don't understand. And then I went to Worlds. Worlds super fancy. And then now I've gone to this one. And the one in Bryan was very fancy. It was very...
They since they're not localized anywhere, there's definitely hit and misses. For example, I went to Ohio one time.
Yeah.
To play in a ACL event, and it was raggedy, man.
Oh, really?
It was so raggedy.
I guess, do they rely on like the regional directors?
I'm not quite sure. I'm sure they do to a degree rely on the like the state directors to set up those events.
Yeah.
But I mean, not every area is going to have the nicest venues.
Yeah. So they had plenty of space, plenty of room, huge spaces between the lanes. Not nearly as, you know, they didn't have the draw that a TCL event has, right? So TCL probably had like 1,000 players on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I bet you ACL had less than half that. But it was still well attended. A lot of people. I saw a lot of familiar faces. I was surprised to see. Like father, like son, the Para, Greg and Nico, they were there and they were like, well, we can't play together in TCL. So they went to ACL. But it was nice. No music, right? Which I still think is kind of weird, but you can wear headphones. What I did notice though, is there was more cheering than I remember from the Fort Worth one. The people were actually cheering. People were watching and like applauding, but it's like golf. The noise is only made after the shot is hit or thrown, after the bag is thrown.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there is some etiquette there still. There was lots of bars, so you could go there and get hammered if you want to.
But it's not the type of environment where it's easy to just get hammered.
Yeah.
Unless you're angry hammered.
You know, as you're kicking around, like if you like, I was there on Thursday for the TCL event, right? And people are already being very affectionate and very, you know, they've been drinking. You can see it in their eyes or whatever. And it kind of, you can see, you know, when the environment is drunk, it's a little bit louder. A lot of people are talking louder. They're hanging on each other.
Yeah.
They're, you know, stuff like that. Like you can see it. And no, I did not see that in the ACL event. But I thought it was really nice, actually. The ACL event was really nice. I was surprised. I would almost guarantee that they have to come back and do that again because that event seemed to be, I don't know, the place was super nice and it seemed to be really well run. And I got to say, it was great to see like all Texas guys in the finals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're into just cornhole, I would say the ACL event was great. But if you're in for like more of a, I don't know what you want to call it, like more of a social experience, I would say that the
I think
TCL.
it's just the experience in general. If you're playing cornhole just to play cornhole, yeah, I can see how an ACL event's attractive. But if you're doing it for the friends, family, laughs, and fun,
the TCL events where it's out. And, I hate to keep saying it, but the alcohol is a difference, right? If you're trying to get away from alcohol, like I am, you might want to, ACL is a nice alternative. But I have to go on record. I think I am on record as saying, like the experience, take John Miller, we talked about earlier today, right? In the finals at a TCL event, I saw the videos that, like Kevin Mays' blog, 5 people, 6 people deep around the pit.
Yeah.
People standing on chairs, yelling and screaming. You're never going to get an experience like that.
Ever.
Not at a TCL
Not
event.
a TCL event.
Right. You have to be at a TCL event to get that kind of experience.
It's like it's WWE.
It is electric, exciting. He's going to remember it for the rest of his life. Meanwhile, at the ACL event, I call it the lose and leave culture. You lose and leave.
Right. And the top, because I know the top talent is there and the top talent feels like people are there to watch them. I don't necessarily think that's true. You watch the top talent at the TCL events because you just got done watching everybody else.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, but TCL also has like your social, your backyard.
Oh, the backyard
on
game.
Main stage.
People were freaking out in the backyard game.
Yeah.
So it's just a great experience.
Yeah, and to give people that kind of experience is difficult to do, but hats off to TCL for doing it. But yeah, the difference between a TCL and ACL event is drastic, right? Like it is huge. And I'm trying to explain it. I think I got to stop explaining it at this point, but it's such a different environment. It's so different.
Well, yeah. And yeah, I agree. I think it's just different focuses is why their events are different.
All right. So did you want to talk about your personal experience?
My personal experience with...
and you did not go to the ACL event at all, right?
I did not go to the ACL event at all. So him and Skeet show up Thursday, get all the setup going. They start laying out boards and doing that whole process. I mean, it takes forever to get all that set up. And then when you start getting people to show up and you start looking out and getting ready for the Scoreholios and the regional directors tournament, and they did a B co-ed. So that was pretty cool. Getting everybody starting to get in the groove, playing. I did not do very good in the Scoreholio.
What do you mean? You and Signs did like 5th or 6th or something, right?
Yeah, but with with me and him playing together, man, we should have made a run.
I thought you were going to win it,
and I just wasn't on it. I don't think he was on it either. It could have been something like a bag change. It could have been something like a switch sides or something. But man, we just could not put it together. So then we have singles come around on Friday, and yeah, I mean, I felt like it went pretty well overall. I think this was a B event when it comes to, if I was to give it a letter grade, it was a B, because there are things that I definitely agree with could have been better, but TCL packed in as many people as they could because there's so many people that wanted to play. And the growing pains in that, not realizing that, hey, it might make sense on the Scoreholio calculator why we can have all these people here and get these games done, but the venue space, the parking space, the people going up and down the elevators, like you're going to be tight. You're going to be tight, and it's hard to just know that until you experience it, right? So yeah, it's Friday, singles ran. Man, I threw gas until I didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I threw gas until I didn't. My favorite game was playing against Cahill Isom, and we went 31 rounds. I threw a 10-4-5, and he threw a 10-2-4.
Oh, poor guy.
And with the way I performed in my next game, I really wish he beat me.
Oh, is that right?
Because
who'd you go up against next?
Justin. And
I watched that game.
Yeah, and I was just, I don't know what happened. Bags were not going in the hole, and they just were. But yeah, I mean, it was Cahill should have beat me, but
so
still,
Cahill could go take on Justin.
Yeah, but still, being able to, I mean, and the game before that, I had 21-0 Ty Thompson and threw an 11-1.
Dang,
like
bro.
I mean, for a minute there, I felt great, but when it got bad, it was bad. It was so bad. So made a good run in singles. Felt pretty good about it. Was pretty happy about it. The booths. I think I understand. There's some comments out there about how the vendors needed to be in a different area.
Yeah, but where would you have put them?
there is a place where
And
you
that
put
outside part,
that outside little hallway part, you can put them there. But then at that point, okay, vendors, you're not allowed to have tents, because tents are 10 foot by 10 foot, and that's a 15-foot walkway. So it would still led to the same issue.
So vendors complain about not being in the main area because that's where all the traffic is. That's where they want to be.
It's where the traffic is, and it makes them feel a part of the event.
Yeah.
Where if they're just on the outside, it's just not the same, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no attraction out there.
Yep.
So, you can say that was a flaw in the layout. There's still some other things you can do to adjust, though. But I think at the end of the day, it was just overpacking. Too
many people registered.
There was just so many people that wanted to be there.
From the TCL's perspective, that's a great problem to have.
It's a great problem to have.
But so what can you do about that? Obviously, you can charge more, right? Supply demand. That's, I think, most business managers would say, okay, you increase the ticket price.
The next thing you know, though, it's TCL's just trying to take all this money or whatever. And it's like, man, you got to find that happy medium.
I would be willing to pay more money if I knew that it was going to be limited to less people.
Right.
And
maybe that's where.
Or you could do packages. Like if you get you bundle it up into a package, and the first 100 seats or 100 tickets go to people get the nice packages. You can give whatever. It's not my problem to solve, but it's a good problem to have.
Right.
That's for sure.
Exactly.
And it goes to show, like, the great experience that TCL provides, people are just falling over themselves literally to go.
Yeah. And again, I think the TCL staff in general learned a lot from this event. And they've already been discussing on ways to make it better in case they're in a situation like that again, in some of these smaller venues, because players need to understand with these smaller venues, the reason we're not in a Dallas or a Fort Worth convention center that has a ton of space, TCL loses negotiation power when it comes to alcohol prices, beer prices. They're going to charge you $10 a beer. Are you ready for that? They're going to be charging you a lot of money for your drinks. Is TCL's community willing to take that trade-off? Bigger venue, but they're going to be paying more for alcohol.
Yeah. Would you rather? That's a good question. And I'd love to hear the comments. Like, would you rather have the experience that we just had at Mesquite, right? Very crowded, infrastructure. The venue infrastructure couldn't handle the number of people. That and what was it? $5 beers,
right?
Or huge, plenty of infrastructure and $10 beers.
Yeah. And there's a trade-off with everything, right?
Yeah.
There's a trade-off with everything, and
I'd take the $10 beers.
Right. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Those add up, man. Those add up.
You sneak in Fireball.
Yeah, but then you're going to be dealing with that issue. It's just, there's a trade-off with everything, man.
Everclear.
Yeah.
In a Camelback.
But, the staff at the venue definitely needed to be better. They definitely need to be more on it. But those are things that are kind of outside of TCL's control. TCL can just control how many people they put in the building at the end of the day.
And they filled it up.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, people with the elevators not working. Well, tell dumbass not to piss in the elevator. Tell dumbass not to smoke in the elevator. Tell dumbass not to stick a sticker on the elevator sensor that makes it go up and down. Because doing stuff like that, next thing you know, the venue had to pay $500 to bring somebody out there to fix the elevator that shouldn't have been broken in the first place.
Yeah. The elevator issue, that's kind of not really an issue. The issue in my mind, it's the bathrooms, it's the changing the rooms between, carpet room versus cement room. It's the parking issues that happened. And all of that just kind of fits under the penumbra of infrastructure problems.
Right.
Right.
But
it's the venue. Right?
It's growing pains, because Mesquite's always been a good venue for TCL. And I think that with it being overpacked this time, TCL is going to learn some things from this. They're going to learn how they should have been manipulate some of those courts. Hey, I shouldn't go put this 7th and 5th place game. These loser bracket games that are getting towards the end of the bracket. I shouldn't stick those people in the corner. I should stick them in the middle of the court so people can gather around it like they do the main stage. And I saw some people asking, okay, so what about the main stage? Why not put it back in that corner in the carpet room? Okay, you're going to have a lot less people watching that championship game because you can't surround it.
Yeah, I agree with you and what you guys did with having the big spectacle needs to be in the biggest room.
Right.
You don't want to hide it off in a corner.
But again, with it being overpacked, you had people walking into those lanes right next to the broadcast court because there's just not enough space in between there for people to get through, because people are standing and watching there instead of having another place to go stand.
Yeah, and looking through all the comments that were posted on our page, nobody said I'm never coming back.
No.
Everybody was like, it was a really well-run event that event location kind of sucks. It was too small.
And like I said, it's a B event. Like it had so many good things about it, but there's things that, hey man, now we know what the deal was moving forward.
Well, if TCL, another way to solve the problem besides increasing sticker prices would be create more, right? Supply demand issue. You either charge more or you make more. So, ACL is already at its open number 8, and TCL is at Sig 3, have more SIGs and spread them out over a bigger geographic area. That way, everybody doesn't come to every single SIG.
Right.
That would be another solution.
And that's definitely a path that they can take. But, at that point in time, you're talking about more staff. You're talking about people that need to coordinate those things and more time. And,
if the demand's there.
No. It makes sense to do it. But again, there's so many things you got to do to get to that point. And, it's as much as TCL thinks, as much as people think that TCL is just raking in all this money, they're doing everything they can with what they got.
Yeah. And, I'm sure they're very thankful for everybody showing up and continuing to support the events, even when they have hiccups and growing pains, right?
Right. Absolutely.
All right, cool. So we've covered the draft. We've covered our personal experiences.
Yep.
I don't have anything else listed on my my little piece of paper that I keep our notes on. Is there anything else that we need to talk about, Grant? There's always the future.
The future, what's coming up?
Yep, we're going to have a big event here at AJ's next week. There's a BC doubles. Everybody can play in a BC doubles. And this coming Wednesday, so like a week from today pretty much, or a week from when you're listening to this, there's going to be a BC doubles. And the Texas Cornhole Show will be broadcasting that one live. So that's always fun. Anybody can play in a BC doubles.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun until me and Raymond shit the bed.
Yeah.
But and then we have the next SIG is going to be in Lubbock. That's going to be a drive.
The next one's Lubbock.
Lubbock.
So it's Lubbock and then Waco?
Yes.
That's what's happening?
Yes.
And then it's Lubbock, Waco for 4 and 5. And then does it end in Shreveport? Is that what I remember?
It ends in Choctaw. That's the league championship.
Is there another one in Shreveport this year?
I can't remember. I would have to look. But
I mean, at this point, like people were kind of complaining about Shreveport last time. From what I remember, it's like, oh, we just went there, we went right back. But
it was just
after Mesquite. Wouldn't you rather go ahead and go to
Shreveport?
Spend a couple more hours in the car?
Yeah, I mean, they just got to start. We just got to spread out a little more. I mean, there's no reason at this point why we shouldn't. I know the people in the Metroplex, the diehard supporters in the Metroplex don't want to hear this, but rather than Mesquite, why are we not going to Bryan and using that venue?
Bro, the Bryan, I'm telling you guys, that place is nice.
Dude, I think
it will be one of your best events.
I think the only downside you said is the hotel's not attached.
There's not an attached hotel, so there'll be drunk driving. That's the problem.
We got to get a shuttle or something.
Got to get some shuttles.
It's just another expense. Add that into the ticket price.
Include it to the package. You get a bracelet for the shuttle.
You get a bracelet for the shuttle.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some things that
now, I might be wrong about that, okay? There might be a hotel within walking distance, but I don't think there's a hotel. No, I know there's not a hotel attached to the event center. But that place is nice, dude. And there's got to be more places around that are nice. But I'm sure Chad's on top of it. He'll figure it out. So
I also want to add this, since, talking about Chad.
Yeah.
I got inspired this past weekend.
Okay.
As I've came up through the game, there's definitely people I've looked at and things they've done on the court that I wanted to emulate. I can get that into that in another day. But this past weekend, Chad Jacobson is now someone that I want to learn to add to my game and emulate.
What?
He won Tier 3 competitive singles.
Tier 3.
And in that championship in front of all those people, he had no problem at all just doing his own thing and having fun. And honestly, it reminded me.
Did he get all up in that guy's dome? Or was it a girl? Or was it who is he?
He was I can't remember, a military guy.
Okay, so there's a man, an older man?
Not older, probably 40s.
All right.
And dude, Chad was giving it to him, man. And that guy wanted no part in talking to Chad, but Chad did not care.
Yeah.
Chad's going to do his thing, say his thing, take his time, drink his beer, walk to the other side, say something to the guy, doing whatever. That's honestly what inspired me to make my Miller comment during that game, because this guy, he was doing everything outside of playing cornhole and then hitting the shots in the cornhole game, banging air mails. And
Did he win the game?
Yes. And it was just exciting. And, you got Jason getting behind him and talking to him, getting in his ear. Because
Wait, was Jason trying to enforce some rules?
No, Jason, Jason was just trying to even out the shit talking. or not the shit talking.
I hear you.
You know, because that guy was not going to do it back to Chad. So someone had to do that back to Chad, right?
Got you.
And it was just really cool because I got to sit there and like this. It reminded me of what TCL was, or it reminded me of what TCL still is. It's, yeah, I'm here to play cornhole, but I'm going to have fun if I'm throwing good or not. I'm going to have a blast in these games, talk to these people, and just do my thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this before. I didn't watch this game, but I mean, he will take a long time. He'll start talking to you about random stuff.
Just whatever.
He just tries to get in your head.
He'll sit down, crisscross applesauce on the floor. He'll if you're Corey Gann was sitting down stretching one time for the start of the tournament. Chad walks up to him, spreads his legs, and starts stretching with him. It's hilarious, and I got inspired of, hey, I'm here to have fun, and you know, if I win while I have fun, that just makes it even better. Yeah. So shout out Chad. I'm going to start applying that to my game, and I'm sorry to all the pro and elite players that are going to have to deal with my mouse moving forward. I'm about to throw the arrow again. That Grant's coming back.
You're bringing it back?
Grant's coming back.
You playing tonight?
I'll do the live feed.
You're going to do the commentary?
I'm until you're out of the tournament, and then I'm out of here.
Bro, okay, so if I win, you're going to commentate all night?
Yes.
Interesting. I haven't played in a long time. I'm kind of feeling like I want to play.
There's a lot of players signed up, so I mean, I don't
know, man.
I personally, as much as I would love to play, it's a long night for me because I got an hour to drive home. Yeah, so it's just, and honestly, there's some overtime I got to do. There's some things I got to make happen. So,
oh yeah, you're working hard.
Yeah, gotta lead by example. Work my ass off.
Alrighty. So yeah, coming up, we got some exciting stuff coming up at AJ's. Oh, Big D update, man. I keep getting asked like, when are you gonna have bags available again? And then we have this ACO tournament coming, and I just keep getting roadblocks. The current issue, my shop's still not ready to go. I've got a ventilation problem, and the weather has been keeping me from installing my exhaust fan. So that's up. That's what's up. Big D still exists, and I'll be making bags, and it's just gonna take some more time. I was hoping to have bags available like 2 weeks ago, but just waiting.
Well, hopefully we can get something figured out for you.
Yep, it'll work out.
All right. Sounds good. And remember, it's just a game.